ನಗರದ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಪೂರ್ವ ಪ್ರಾಥಮಿಕ ಶಾಲೆ, ಶಕ್ತಿ ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಶಕ್ತಿ ಪದವಿ ಪೂರ್ವ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಇಂದು ಈ ಕ್ರೀಡಾ ದಿನಾಚರಣೆಯನ್ನು ಆಚರಿಸಲಾಯಿತು. ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯದ ದೈಹಿಕ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ವಿಭಾಗದ ದೈಹಿಕ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರಾದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಜೆರಾಲ್ಡ್ ಸಂತೋಷ್ ಡಿಸೋಜಾ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿಯಾಗಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿದರು. ಶಕ್ತಿ ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಂಶುಪಾಲರಾದ ವಿದ್ಯಾ ಕಾಮತ್ ಜಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷತೆಯನ್ನು ವಹಿಸಿದ್ರು. ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿ ಸಂಜಿತ್ ನಾಯ್ಕ್, ಆಡಳಿತಾಧಿಕಾರಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕೆಸಿ ನಾಯ್ಕ್, ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಸಲಹೆಗಾರ ರಮೇಶ್ ಕೆ, ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿ ಪ್ರಖ್ಯಾತ್ ರೈ, ಶಕ್ತಿ ಪದವಿ ಪೂರ್ವ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ಪ್ರಾಂಶುಪಾಲರಾದ ಟಿ ರಾಜಾರಾಮ್ ರಾವ್ ಸೇರಿದಂತೆ ಅನೇಕರು ಭಾಗಿಯಾಗಿದ್ರು.
ಕಾರ್ಯಾರಂಭದಿ ಸ್ಮರಿಸುವೆ ನಿನ್ನನು, ಕಾರ್ಯಾರಂಭದಿ
Sir, done, sir.
ನಗೆ ವಿನಾಯಕ ಫಲದಾಯಕ ನೀನೇ, ವಿನಾಯಕ ಫಲದಾಯಕ ನೀನೇ, ವಿನಾಯಕ.
Thank you, sir, for leading us in prayer. There is little in life so reassuring as a genuine welcome. It's indeed my pleasure to welcome everyone who has joined for the celebration of National Sports Day on behalf of Shakti Education Trust. I would like to extend a special welcome to our chief guest, Mr. Gerald Santosh D'Souza, Director of Physical Education, Mangalore University, with a teaching experience of 24 years. A warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you,
warm welcome to our Secretary, Mr. Sanjeet Nayak. I extend a cordial welcome to our Administrator, Dr. K.C. Nayak, who is our source of inspiration, our Chief Advisor, Mr. Ramesh K., our Institute Development Officer, Mr. Prakhyat Rai, Principal of Shakti PU College, Mr. Rajaram, Principal of Shakti Residential School, Mrs. Vidya Kamath ji, and Mrs. Neema Saxena, the coordinator of SGK Preschool, who are always there to encourage and support us. A big welcome to our teaching and non-teaching staff who are always ready with their support and cooperation. Last but not the least, I welcome all the parents and students who have joined us for the celebration. Once again, a warm welcome to everyone. India commemorates National Sports Day every year on August 29th. The Rashtriya Khel Divas is held to honor Major Dhyan Chand Singh, a hockey star who was born on August 29, 1905. He was given the nickname Chand because of his exceptional skills. He has 3 Olympic medals to his credit, and he is the only hockey player to have received the Padma Bhushan Award. His sporting achievement and lifetime accolades are regarded as the pinnacle of India's sports history. This day is also dedicated to our sports heroes who have made significant contributions to the country, particularly to sports and entertainment. The main goal of this day is to raise awareness about the importance of sports and physical activity in our lives. We feel honored to have with us the Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Gerald Santosh D'Souza, Director of Physical Education, Mangalore University, who has a vast teaching experience of 24 years. I now call upon Ms. Deepthi to introduce the Chief Guest to the audience. Over to you, Deepthi. Deepthi, can you hear me? Deepthi?
Thank you for the opportunity, Sangeeta ma'am.
Yeah.
It's my privilege to introduce today's guest of honor, Mr. Gerald Santosh D'Souza, to this program. Mr. Gerald Santosh D'Souza have completed his BCom, MPed, PhD, NIS Diploma in Hockey, PGDSM, PGDYS from various institutes. He is the Director of Physical Education at Mangalore University, Mangala Gangotri. He has vast 24 years of professional teaching experience. He has received district level Rajyotsava Award in the year 1995. He had been a recipient of research equipment donated by EMG System by DeLuca Foundation, USA. Let's look at his membership of professional bodies. Life member and honorary secretary of Dakshina Kannada Hockey Association, life member of Indian Federation of Computer Science in Physical Education and Sports, life member of National Association of Physical Education and Sports Science, life member of Mangalore University Teacher Association, life member of Mangalore University Physical Education Teachers Association. His contribution towards the research field is vast. 5 scholars have already completed and 7 ongoing PhD scholars are doing their PhD research under his guidance. He has published 28 national and international journals. I would like to list out few of them. Sport Excellence, a retrograde practice, a look into the realities of sport management in colleges, Coaching and Technology, a study of its application in hockey at the university level, contributed to Karnataka State Government High School Physical Education textbook for class 6 to 9 standard, perception of weight and BMI among student athletes, and so on. Mr. Gerald D'Souza has done over 23 papers and poster presentation in various conferences and seminars on the topic such as competence of sports personnel, the making of profession physical education, obesity and exercise, coaching and technology, development of sports, and so on. He has been the resource person for more than 40 plus programs on the various topics such as aerobics, technology in sports, obesity and aerobics, health and wellness through physical activities, and so on. It's my great pleasure to have you in our program, sir. Once again, I welcome you to this program and request you to address the students. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Deepthi, for your kind introduction. Well, good
Thank you,
morning,
sir.
all of you. Good morning, and first of all, at the outset, let me wish all of you a very happy and fruitful, not only National Sports Day, but also throughout the year, throughout the years of your life. Enjoy the day as a National Sports Day. That is the message that we have to give today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sanjit Naik, the secretary of this Shakti Education Trust, Dr. K.C. Naik, administrator, Shakti Education Trust, Mr. Ramesh K, chief advisor, Shakti Education Trust, Mr. other management members, Mr. Prakyat Rai, Mr. T. Rajaram Rao, Ms. Nima Saxena, and the principal of Shakti Residential School, Srimati Vidya Kamath ji, and my dear students. Well, it gives me great pleasure today to address you on the occasion of National Sports Day, because more importantly, we have to address the students, the younger generation of today, what they are going to do with their lives. I'm not going to talk about your careers, nor about your studies, or not about what you're going to do with regards to your employment or those things. I'm just going to talk to you about how we can improve the quality of life, because there are a lot of sayings which say, sound mind in a sound body, and if all is, if all is lost, nothing is lost, but if health is lost, everything is lost. And so many sayings which give so much importance to health. But are we really doing anything about it? All these sayings have got some amount of truth in that. Otherwise, those sayings would not have come around. And only when we face some kind of situation, then we realize, oh yeah, I should have done that. Right. Okay. Today is the National Sports Day. Let us be very joyous today and celebrate the Olympic performance of India. Of course, relatively, it's very less compared to other countries, but it is also very much compared to our earlier performances, right? And winning a gold medal so decisively, like Neeraj Chopra did, that is a very heartening for us. And today we celebrate the birth anniversary of Major Dhyan Chand Singh. Myself being a hockey player, I understand what is going, what might have been happening during those days. People who are not well versed in hockey, let me tell a few few nuances of the game. See, hockey, unlike other games, it is a game where there is a medium between which you play the ball. Of course, in badminton, tennis, it is there, but there is no such thing as you can't hit with any. You can hit with any part of the implement. But in hockey, you have to play with only one side of the stick, right? There's another side which cannot be played. Now, hockey is such a game that you cannot play it voluntarily. You cannot think and play. If you have to practice hockey, it's very difficult to play. But once you have practiced hockey, it's almost like drinking. It's almost like bread and water for us, because it becomes very instinctive. Hockey is a very instinctive game. The more you practice, the more better you become. So just like any other game, hockey also, but more about hockey, that it has to be inculcated in the youngsters when they are small, when their nervous system is very fresh and capable of being changed, capable of being trained. And thus magicians are born. Hockey people call magicians because normal people cannot understand, okay, how are they going to dribble? How are they going to play both sides of the stick? It's very difficult. But if you get it, then you become a magician. And such was the magic quality of Mr. Major Dhyan Chand. We had many players. I remember in my college days, Mohammad Shahid was there before the coming of the synthetic turf. There was only the gravel ground and the grass ground, and it suited Indian style of play. And he was such a magician. We cannot grasp what they were doing with the stick. Such was their quality. And Dhyan Chand, as you might know, that he had brothers, and one of his brother, Roop Chand, also was equally good player. And actually, he scored more goals than Dhyan Chand in 1932 Olympics, that is in Los Angeles, when India won with a record score of 24-1 against USA. And then all of you know that how in the era of Hitler, when he said that the Aryan race was the supreme race, how he came down and shook hands with Dhyan Chand. That itself was a tribute to the prowess of Dhyan Chand. And what we have to understand here is not that Dhyan Chand was a hockey player. Let's not talk, okay, he was a hockey player, but let's not talk about one game and, hockey players. So hockey players have to celebrate more than the other games. No, that's not the case. Of course, he was a hockey player. But during those times, we just cannot imagine what was happening during those times. The World War was going on, and Indian Army was under the British, I suppose, and we were deputed. The Indian Army was deputed to various places to fight the war, especially in the Asian regions. And then we were under the British. Most of the Indian country was under poverty, but hockey was being played. That was because one of the main reasons was because it was brought by the British, and in the British, that is the army, the game was played. So the game fostered in the armies. And Dhyan Chand, it seems, the story goes that he practiced in the moonlight also, so he was called Chand, moon. Anyway, his perseverance, his resilience, of course, not he alone. He represented the team. He represented the team of players, of sportsmen of India of those times, and represented them and excelled. So he was an icon for all of us. So on his birthday, very aptly, we are celebrating the National Sports Day. So what does this mean for us? What does National Sports Day mean for us? All of you know, all of you are in high school, PUC, I suppose. So I'm sure all of you love to celebrate your sports day, right? Annual sports day. Even if colleges, schools do not have proper facilities, they end up celebrating the sports day no matter what. They will rent some ground and end up celebrating the sports day. Why? Because sports day is one such which you cannot do without. We have to give, even the students do not practice daily or regularly, we have to give them some kind of a support, some kind of a opening so that they can practice, they can show their skills. And I remember with nostalgia, I remember my school days, of course, those days cannot be brought back. I would give anything to go back to those days when we used to run, jump without care, without any fear of injury or anything. That was the age. And this is your age. This is the age when you can do anything. People say you can digest a stone also, isn't it not? That is the power of the youth. And you have to unleash that power. But sadly, don't take me wrong, but the things that are happening around us is that ours is a very lopsided educational structure where we give importance only to one thing, where there is no importance to, there's no holistic development. We talk about holistic development, we talk about all-round development, personality development, but where is the personality development taking place? Well, actually, we do not understand the personality as such. We think, Amitabh Bachchan is so tall, such a good personality. Personality is not that just physical. Of course, he has a very good personality, but it's not just about the physical structure of a person. It is the qualities, the social qualities, it is the health qualities, it is the mental, intellectual qualities. All of that make a personality of a person. There are some people who are short, but when they start talking, you're mesmerized by them. That is their personality. So this sports is one important aspect of personality development, not just physical, because it leads to many other kinds of personality development, right? As you all know, sports helps in developing social qualities. I have been to, in my playing days, I have not only playing coaching days, I have been to different places in the country, and how the camaraderie between the players, how we mingle with the players. It's wonderful to watch. In the ground, we are like enemies, fighting for the ball or fighting for whatever we are playing for. But off the ground, we just enjoy a cup of tea together. That is what happens in sports. Sometimes we win, we are so happy, but a person has to be emotionally balanced. Even if he wins, then he has to get ready for the next round, so next level of competition. If he loses, no problem. It is a learning. I always say there is no loss. You do not lose in life, right? What do you mean by lose? You lose only once. That is, we are born and we die. That when we die, we lose. That's all. Otherwise, there is no such thing as loss in life. I say it is only experience. What you call it loss or losing, I call it as experience. It is an experience. It is an experience which we have to experience. And that develops the emotional development development in us. We learn to win and we learn to lose, and we learn by losing. One more thing is that we develop ourselves. Of course, the direct impact of participating in sports is we develop ourselves physically as well as physiologically. I'm sure all of you are learning science to the maximum extent with coaching classes, with all those things. But what about applicability? Do you know what is happening in us while we do sports? We are putting a demand on our systems, and this demand is very important for our growth. Stimulus is very important for our growth. We do not improve our fitness. Now, Neeraj Chopra improved his strengths, they improve the endurance, improve their capabilities. It's not done voluntarily. It's done involuntarily. Our human body has got a memory of its own, and it learns. As you keep on putting more and more pressure. That is, of course, there are ways and means of doing it. Scientifically, you put more and more demands on the body, it starts adapting. This adaptation is very important, and this adaptation helps us to develop ourselves physically and develop ourselves physiologically, our heart, circulatory system, cardiovascular system becomes stronger, our muscular system becomes stronger, our nerves start, the conduction of the signals between the nerves and the muscles become faster and become, become smoother. That is, we improve our coordination. That's how we can see people. That is how Dhyan Chand improved his, became a magician in his hockey. His nervous system must have been so well tuned to that between his brains and between his muscles to dodge the ball, dribble the ball. Fine. So this is what happens by participating in sports. So just like I was saying, today's education is very lopsided. How many of the schools are giving importance to sports? I don't say that you have to make sports are the highest, but at least till 14, 15 years, a child should play. You know, in vocabulary, I read somewhere, in vocabulary, within the 12, 13 years of age, you master 90% of your vocabulary. Afterwards, maybe 2, 3 words or a few words you pick up in a year, but till then, but if you have not done your reading, have not read books, then after 15, 16, very limited limited productivity will be there. Same thing even in sports, even in your physiological systems, you have to start at a very young age. I'm not telling to go competitive, but you should play. Now, the very problem of sports nowadays is that people, as soon as they pick up their whatever equipment they play, or when they start running, or when they go for some exercise, they start becoming competitive. They want to, become champions all of a sudden. You should become a champion for yourself. If I can run today 2 kilometers, tomorrow I should run 3 kilometers. That is a champion. Championship winning is very relative. You can win the Olympics, be so happy. At the same time, you can win inter-school and be equally happy, right? So winning is a emotion, and it is very relative, and it need not be at the highest levels. It can be at your level also. It means you're surpassing, you're getting something. So these things should be put in the children. And the children, you should participate in sports, you should participate in physical activities. You are meant to use your muscles. We human beings are, first of all, before you use your brain, of course, the brains and muscles act in coordination with each other. But before you burden your brain with everything, you have to exercise your physics, exercise your physical being, because that is what you live with till the end of your life, right? So the physical aspect is very, very important, because without physical aspect, I don't think your mental faculties also will work to the optimum. So, and one more thing I would like to tell the parents or teachers also is that sports will never ever come in the way of studies or academic excellence. I have seen many sportsmen who have got ranks, my own batchmates, or maybe my seniors or juniors. They were one of the university cross country or athlete. Athlete has to practice morning and evening, right? The games, at least they take some rest, or they can afford to take some rest. But at the individual events, they have to practice. And he secured a rank in BCom, and also now he's got a very good post. And my own friend is also has a very high post in a multinational company, and he did his MBA, and he was also a record holder in the 400-meter hurdles for more than 20 years at the university level. So so sports will never come in the way. In fact, actually, sports will help the students. So by this, I don't mean the children have to practice morning and evening 2 hours. Of course, I'm not, whatever I'm talking in this talk, in this speech, is about participation, not competitive. Competition or excellence comes out of participation. If you never participate, then of course there's no chance of excellence. There was a coach, USA, one very famous coach. He said these words. He said, "You should not be afraid of losing, because if you are afraid of losing, then you would never participate. And then if you never participate, then you would not know where you stand, and you would not have a chance of winning itself, right?" And even Swami Vivekananda also has said, you can understand your religion with your muscles stronger. And I think Swami Vivekananda is one of the best examples of combining religion with fitness, with activity. He was into, as far as I've read about him, he was into yoga and he swam very long distances in the sea, and he was such a strong person, fit person. And this way, I don't think anything can come in the way of sports or physical activity participation. As you all know, sports is a festival of life. You know, whenever you say whatever you do, whether you are academician, whether you are a businessman, or whether you are a teacher, whether you're a housewife, whenever there's a sports event, all of eyes are glued to the TV. Okay, nowadays when there's cricket, everyone watch the TV, or Olympics. All of us watch the Olympics, whether we are sportsmen, non-sportsmen, sportsmen. There's a different issue. Why? Because sports is a festival of life. Sports is life. Not because don't think that because I am a professional in physical education and sports, I'm talking this. But I think I had a lot of opportunities to change. I mean, to go on a different route. Also, I could have gone into MBA and all those things. I was a very good above average student, and those days it was enough for us to reach heights in other areas. But I took this so that I could play, I could lead, I could guide the students, I could be with the students. It was this being, or this oneness with the students, that led me to come to this profession. So it's not because I am in this profession I'm talking this way, but even if I was in any other profession, I would have continued my sports or fitness activities. So as I said, sports itself is life, and wherever you are, people, sports is important. And when you come to Olympics, you have seen something like up to 1988 approximately Olympics, USA was always leading by many medals. Then slowly China started catching up to them. And in recent Olympics, China has, of course, in Tokyo, I think USA was ahead. But before that, in one or two Olympics, China also has beaten USA. And because sports is considered as the index of a nation's human resources. A good sportsman coming out of that country, good sports performance means that nation is healthy, it has got strong people, and is doing something for its people. Because without having good economic development, I don't think sports nowadays, in the present time, sports can be excelled in, because you require top of the state uh, facilities, you require sports science facilities, and you require nutrition, guidance. So without a good economic development, you cannot, what is that? You cannot desire, or you can't expect to win an Olympic medal. Many of the small countries winning the Olympic medals, and all those people, most of them are studying in European and US on the scholarships, and also they practice there. It's not that we can say, oh, such a small country now, something like Botswana, they got a gold medal. What is India doing? Of course, all of them get scholarships. They go study in the US and get scholarships, and they practice there. And India, I think, in comparison to how many people actually participate in sports, I think India is doing pretty well. Because maybe in USA, 25% might be actively participating in sports, 25-30. But how much percentage of Indians are participating? We only talk of billion population. But let's say your own school or a neighborhood school, how many? Yesterday I was talking in another talk. I was just telling a big college, maybe 3,000 students, maybe 5% of them participate. Many of them play different games, multiple games. Maybe around 100 boys might be participating, 100, 120, or maybe 50 girls might be participating. Out of 3,000 total students, maybe around 200. Okay, no, not even 10%. So we have to introspect ourselves. It's not for competitive. We have to give an outlet for the student to participate. And based on this small percentage of participation, I think India is doing pretty well. And India has been, you must have read recently in other tournaments, in other global events, such as recently held under 20 athletic championships. We got one silver, two silvers, I think, and one relay. We got the bronze, which was unheard of. Before this, only one person won the 400 meters gold, and Anju Bobby George, she won the bronze in long jump in World Championships. But now at the global level, of course, even if it's under 20, we have won 3 medals, and we are still winning in world cadet wrestling championships, and even in, I think, world junior archery. We have been winning nowadays. And let this winning become a habit. It's all in the mind, you say, and it's very true. You should win in your mind. See, recently I read a book about a person who tells how to approach the competitive exams. He says when you write the competitive exam, you should write in such a way that you already passed the exam. You should not be so tensed up. Oh, what will happen if I don't pass? What will happen if I get this wrong? You should write like, I've already studied, I've already passed the exam. Same thing in sports also. You should participate like you can do it. If you don't do it, that's fine. That's no issue. But before you cannot do it, please don't take the money. I cannot do it. It's not a matter of life and death, right? So be positive, be confident, and let's not see this one gold medal or a few medals as a luxury. Let's see that it is a normal thing for us. It's a normal thing for us. And in future, I hope many more champions will come around. If you got the opportunity, please participate in sports. And if you got the opportunity, if you got some skills, if you got the talent, then go ahead, go higher. You can make career opportunities out of sports also. Now, see this, of course, you might say, sir, only if you reach that level, right? I'm not telling you you put all the eggs in one basket. See, if you're a phenomenal talent, it will come to light by the time you are 13, 14, 15 years, right? So practice at least 13 till 8, 9 standard. Practice well. And if you're good enough, you consult some expert, consult some advanced, what is that, expert or a person who is good in a particular game, and consult them and at a higher level and ask them, just give a audition or give a practice trial and see that can I do it. Then you can make a choice. One more thing I would like to tell you, I think the teachers will really beat me for this. But recently, one person was telling that, recently I met a table tennis player. Her brother is doing badminton. He has left studies and has joined full-time a residential coaching program. Fine. That is good. I mean, if he has got the talent, that is fine. He is doing what he can do with it, right? You have to take chances in life. You cannot say at 60, see, the problem with Indians is that at 15, we have to finish high school. At 16, 17, we have to finish PUC. At 20, we have to finish degree. At 25, post-graduation, and 27, 28, you have to get married. Everything is, compartmentalized. Everything is fixed, scheduled. Okay, if you're doing PUC, why don't you do PUC at 17, 18, if 2 years, if you lose, what is wrong in that? I mean, I'm telling those people who are talented, who want to try it out, who want to try to represent their country. If you're very good at it, try it out for a year or two, then see what will happen. Fine. So do this, and nothing is, you're not going to lose. In fact, you're going to gain experience. You're going to gain some kind of, as I said, everything that you do in life is an experience for you. You're gaining, except for seeing the mobile, except for watching movies, what they call that, binge watching. Yeah, except for binge watching, and except for, just sleeping and hogging and snacking, all other things, productive things which you do, add to your life, add to the quality of life, and it's got a cumulative effect on your development. So don't think just because, in one of the schools, a person was going with his parents somewhere abroad, a European tour, and the school was saying, no, you cannot go. That time, some other guy, he commented, look, he's going abroad. I think he'll get more education by going abroad and seeing the structures, or seeing the culture, and seeing how the people how they behave, their mannerisms. He'll get more by going there than by sitting, in those 4-5 days, than by just sitting in the classroom and memorizing things. So when you get an opportunity, you have to use this opportunity. Also the teachers, the management, you should see that the child develops holistically. Just by missing, of course, I'm not telling missing in the sense, I'm not telling bunking or anything, but any productive thing that a child, for example, in sports, So many teachers do not allow the children to participate. No, 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 you'll miss the classes. You'll miss the classes. I've known people who have done what is that? Throughout their most of the year, they practice and they scored 90%. Maybe you want 99%. That's a different issue. But that if you're 99% people, of course, will what is that? Will work towards that. But there are many people who are very good. They're very good in sports. Maybe they could have become some Olympic champions. But the healthy, but the strong people, well-to-do people who can really do it are restrained by the society or by their elders or by the schools. So no, no, you cannot go and practice. Fine. So this attitude should change, and we should give the children the opportunity to explore the areas in which they are good at. And even if they are not good in sport, let them at least participate. Let them at least participate in fitness activities, and this will make them better citizens. This will make them use the leisure time productively rather than in what mobiles and all those distractions. This is one of the reasons why children are more into mobile nowadays, because they don't know how to spend their time. They have to, and once they get addicted, it's very difficult. So with these words, as I said, speaking a few words about our university, because since I'm in Mangalore University, you must be knowing that we have got a very strong sports structure, sports culture. Many of our university students have represented India in international competitions and in World University Games. And we have got a very good set of staff over here. We have got good facilities. We have got 2-3 outdoor fields. And most importantly, recently we acquired a sports science facility where we have started experimenting on sports sciences about not just running around, but we have got a high-end sports science facilities over here. And as an academician, as a sportsman, my wish is that many of the students participate in sports, improve your health, so that in later life, this same health habits will continue and will remain healthy for your life. And to conclude, I would like to say that Dhyan Chand personifies this resilient spirit of India against all odds. Nowadays life has become comfortable, but let's not make it too comfortable. There'll be enough time to make ourselves very comfortable, but while we're developing, while we're growing, let's make it let's have a little bit of discomfort. Let's come out of a comfort zone and let's grow in all the ways. And Dhyan Chand is a role model for all of us to work against all odds, to excel in something which we take. And as you all know, sports is a great leveler. It has no caste, religion, and let the sportsmanship unite all of us Indians into one big team. And let us try to conquer our fears, weaknesses, and phobias. And let us try to fly our tricolor high in the sports realm in the future days. May not be as an athlete. It might be as an athlete. It might be as a sports promoter. It might be as an educator who has educated the children on sports. So all these people are required to make one Olympic champion. So let's work towards that. And in the end, I wish all of us Indians a happy National Sports Day. Let this spirit not only pervade today, but throughout the year, throughout our lives. Let us be fit, let us be sportive, let us be healthy, and let us propagate the importance of sports and sports participation. Once again, I thank all the management members of this Shakti Residential School, as well as the principal and all the people responsible for this program for giving me an opportunity to speak. Thank you. Thank you all. Jai Hind and Jai Sports.
Thank you, sir, for giving us an opportunity to hear your thoughts. This is surely going to encourage us, especially our students in future. Thank you, sir. Now, I request Srimati Vidya Kamath ji, Principal of Shakti Residential School, to give the presidential address. Over to you, ma'am.
A very good morning to all of you, and a happy National Sports Day too, as we commemorate the birth anniversary of the wizard, the magician of hockey, who had scored around 570 goals in 185 matches, exhibiting his extraordinary goal scoring skills. It is my privilege to propose the presidential address. I fully endorse with Gerald Santosh sir when he said that the physical and the physiological development should go hand in hand. Sure, when I say the human beings are meant to move, and most of our systems work better when we are physically active. Physical health and the stress should always be happening by involving oneself into some form of games or the sports. This also helps and to overcome anxiety. Happy institutions provide a huge platform for all the sports lovers, and we have the indoor games like the table tennis, the chess, and the carom, wherein one can improve their concentration and the reflexes. The sportsmanship spirit and the channel to work as a team could be developed by involving oneself in games like kabaddi, volleyball, basketball, kho football, cricket, and all these sports have special place in our playground too. The ability to deal with winning and losing is also learned very well during the matches, and the child gets mentally prepared. As Sir said, nobody should be, diverting from the game the moment they experience failure. In fact, it is an experience. So everybody should participate with the sportsmanship spirit. Winning and losing, it is always a part of the game. To consider sports as a good hobby, one can involve themselves by performing simple exercises at home, like the jumping jacks, the standing squats, the push-ups, the sit-ups, the other aerobic exercises, which actually adds on to your physical activity. Besides this, you can even do weightlifting with the textbooks, lifting up the water-filled bottles. So also a small walk or a hike, then running, skipping, cycling, yoga exercises if you're good at it or if you have a knowledge of it under the able guidance of somebody who is a trainer. This will definitely add on to your physical activity. We all understand that we are managing additional stress during this pandemic, that is COVID-19, which has the potential to threaten our health, our family, and the community at large. But still, we have the capability to be very creative and involve ourselves in a lot of physical activity. So let us not give up. Let us take this opportunity as the turning point in our lives, and more than devoting ourselves to the screen, the gadgets, what you have today has come to you without you asking for it. We understand. And rather than remaining as the couch potatoes, let us work out. Let us try to keep ourselves fit enough and rule out the teenage obesity, especially the teenagers being couch potatoes has proved to be more leaning towards obesity. You have to overcome this. So let us learn new ways of building our emotional resilience and the physical health. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am, for that beautiful message. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. On behalf of Shakti Education Trust, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our chief guest, Mr. Gerard Santosh D'Souza, who spared time from his busiest schedule to grace the occasion. Thank you, sir. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to our secretary, Mr. Sanjeet Nayak, our administrator, Dr. K.C. Nayak, our chief advisor, Mr. Ramesh K., Institute Development Officer, Mr. Prakyat Rai, Mr. Rajaram, Principal of Shakti PU College, Mrs. Vidya Kamat Ji, Principal of Shakti Residential School, Mrs. Nima Saxena, Kindergarten SDK, for their encouragement and support. A big thank you to our teaching and non-teaching staff also